here's Brody Brazil.
So if you've got a question, a comment, a compliment, a contribution, even a rant, phone it in right now at 833-4Brody. I listen to all of your calls, and then I get to play back and respond to the very best messages.
Yeah, this is Ray from California. Everybody hating on the Dodgers, you know what I'm saying? And I just was listening to this, and all the big market teams pay players, but it's a thing called chemistry. That's what the Dodgers are. They play well together. They play as a team. So stop all this hate about, salary. They paid all these players. Shohei Ohtani was on the Angels, and they couldn't do nothing. So it's about the chemistry. It's not about the player. Speak on that. Quit hating.
Ray, I hope you weren't directing the quit hating part on me. I think I've spelled it all out clearly as I can about the Dodgers, that there are people upset about the way this team came together. Anyway, we'll get to that later on in this video. I've actually got 2 calls to present here, but Ray, I just want you to know, I recognize that spending doesn't always mean winning a championship like the Dodgers are aiming to do. Okay, let's get into call number 2 here real quick.
Brody, what is up? Big fan of your show. This is Tony from Santa Barbara, California. I'm a Dodger fan. I do also follow the Angels because I live in Orange County, and I go to the Angels games a lot, but I am a Dodgers fan. Obviously, the main topic, the Dodgers are just buying championships now. Yeah, let's point out 2 teams who spent a lot of money and haven't really had much success in that regard. Oh, I don't know, the Yankees and the Angels. Yeah, the Angels, for instance. I go to these games. How much money have they spent on, like, Pujols, Trout, whatever it was, a 13-year contract? Anthony Rendon, Justin Upton, Josh Hamilton.
Yeah.
Hamilton and C.J. Wilson coming off of their 2 straight appearances of the World Series. Pujols coming off of his 2nd title win. Rendon coming off of his title win with the Nationals. They spent all of this money in the last 10 years. Look where it got them. They're like one of the worst teams in baseball right now. You look at the Yankees. The Yankees, when they won in the late 90s, they won 4 out of 5 years. They didn't quite have like a money-bought team. They just had a well-developed team. But once they started paying guys like Clemens and A-Rod, Giambi, later on with Sabathia and Teixeira, they only had 1 title.
Right.
1 title. The Giants, when they won every other year, they didn't really have any big money-making guys. They just had a good, well-developed team. But Rangers recently, it's like the whole idea of buying a championship. When the Dodgers weren't necessarily doing well before they got Ohtani, when they got Freeman, when they got Mookie, people were still criticizing them for all the money they spent, but yet they can't get past the first round. It's now only because the Dodgers are doing well.
Right.
That's when they start pointing the fingers. There is no such thing as buying a championship. I do agree with this whole thing that there has to be a salary floor, not a salary cap. Because, again, especially in baseball, all the money spent, no one's really winning a lot of championships. But there has to be a floor where owners have to spend money to compete.
And I think Tony ran out of time there. Tony, I apologize. I think the voicemail might have cut you off at about 2 minutes. You were rolling there. You were making so many good points. So from the 2 calls, here is exactly how I want to respond. And I hope I've never said this, that, hey, the Dodgers are spending so much and they're guaranteed to win a championship. No, it's always been my theory that spending and winning goes like this. Spending cannot necessarily buy you a championship. That's not guaranteed. But spending can buy you a larger opportunity, whether that's more players in a smaller window that are going to do the job that you want, right? They're going to get you closer statistically, or they keep your window open for a longer period of time. Like, shouldn't the Dodgers probably be in the next, 3 out of the next 5 World Series if things just play out in their favor? Look how stacked they are. Look how lined up they are. The players they've got committed for the next handful of years. So winning doesn't guarantee you anything. And I also subscribe to the fact that sometimes the bigger you are, the harder you fall. And it's interesting that both callers made reference to the Angels, because I've been thinking about this too. If you're an Angels fan right now and you're watching Ohtani go off like he did in the NLCS clinching game of 3 homers and 10 strikeouts, and you're like, wait, we let him walk as a free agent and then the Dodgers just signed him? You could have traded and got so much at the deadline for Ohtani had the Angels just traded him instead of hanging on to them, but they got absolutely nothing out of that that non-transaction there. So my point is, nothing's guaranteed. I fully recognize that. I do think there's a lot of chemistry with this Dodgers team. The Yankees haven't always been able to get it done. The Padres, despite how much they've spent and how exciting of a team they are, they can't make this push. The Mets, the Metropolitans in recent years, they've spent way more than anybody else has. I mean, like year after year, and they also can't get it done. So let's be clear about that. I do agree with the fact that people are more pinpointed on the Dodgers right now, and I guess I'm defending them. They're pinpointed on the Dodgers because they're winning, because they're giving themselves another chance to win another World Series. But it also goes like this. Had some other teams out there, right, kept their core players, and I'm thinking about a Mookie Betts, a Freddie Freeman, a Shohei Ohtani and the Angels, and on and on and on, had some of those teams been able to spend and do what they're supposed to do and keep their homegrown talent, then the Dodgers don't get all these players. You look at the construction of the Dodgers, mostly external. The Dodgers have not been working on an outstanding pipeline, and these are all the players that they drafted and produced through the minor leagues. Not even close. They've been poaching for years now. So I do understand the aspect of people saying, well, they bought their team. Yes, they did import their team, but how about the Bostons and the Atlantas and the Angels of teams out there who let these guys go, either in free agency or in trades? Other teams should have been keeping these players, these highly sought-after players. I also realize what makes a lot of people upset is like when Ohtani lands in Los Angeles and does the deferred contract, which we'll talk about too in a second. I realized the attractive wave of signings that the Dodgers were making and the spending that they were doing. And when Yamamoto says, oh, you guys are all coming to the party, I think I want to join you. Blake Snell, let me move from NorCal down to SoCal, same idea. Conforto, same exact thing. I also realized why people were a little bit upset in the fact that they felt this wave, this push, kind of almost like when the big three for the Miami Heat and LeBron was part of that. And it kind of all came together. Not organically, but like it was planned. The players had planned like, hey, let's all meet up here and make the Miami Heat as great as we can while we're here. And the same thing kind of feels like it's happening in Los Angeles. There's a magnet there. It's all orchestrated. It's a known commodity. You know that the team can pay for you. So it's not one of those deals where we'd love to have you all, but we just don't have room. We don't have money space. They'll make the money space. Welcome to the team. By the way, and we could talk about this too, it's not like the Dodgers are just spending and getting nothing out of it. They're winning on the field. They're also winning huge off the field. I will save that for last. But yeah, the deferrals of contract money. They're bending the rules. They're not breaking the rules. I want to defend anybody who is a Dodger fan. I get it. Like other teams can do this too. And should they be following the Dodgers lead? If you can afford it, if it makes sense for you. Clearly, they've been able to do it. Now, for how long? There's going to be a new CBA. Will this get written out of the next CBA? I have no clue. But for right here, right now, off season of 25 going into 26, any team is welcome to do this. But I understand why a lot of fans out there are going to see the low-hanging fruit and say, deferrals? You're like sneaking Ohtani in for free and paying him later. And when you suck in 15 years, it won't matter. You're paying him off like the Mets are still paying off Bobby Bonilla every July 1st. For a couple more years even. So I get it, the deferrals are fine, but I get why people don't like that look. And here's what I want to say, though, at the very end. Nobody's been hating on the Dodgers. I've tried to be as transparent as possible about what they've been doing, how they've done this, and really the fact that it's on other teams to have not let this happen, to have not let the Dodgers become who they are because you couldn't grab other players in free agency and maybe you couldn't give them as much, but some of these players were traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is a team that is putting it together on the field. The chemistry that you can't replicate, the talent, obviously, which they are paying for the talent, but the chemistry you can't pay for. You can't buy that chemistry. You can't buy the big moment, big situation performances that they've been getting. Like, that's just the nature of baseball. It's the magic of sports, and that's one of the reasons we love it. So I do have to say that winning on the field has been something that's not guaranteed, and it's something they're doing. But winning off the field, and there is that reporting out there recently, and I am drawing a blank in this instant of who exactly put this out, but I saw the other day, and I'll do some more research on it, that the Dodgers made $700 million in their first season with Ohtani on the team and basically kind of paid for the duration of his contract in just 1 year. Now, what you made and what you had to spend, like, I don't know if it all shakes out in just 1 year, but even if they really made that much more money by having Ohtani and all the sponsorships and all the foreign advertising and broadcast connections, all that stuff, like, they're not just winning on the field and having this chemistry on the field. They're making smart decisions off the field too. So I'll leave it with this. Can you be frustrated if you're not a fan of the Dodgers with the Dodgers? Absolutely. It's the how can they get away with doing this? And I'm not thrilled that they are, in fact, following through on what their end goal was. What has Dave Roberts said? Ruining baseball? He wants to go out and ruin baseball? That is the criticism. But it doesn't always happen this way, right? So it wasn't a guarantee, and other teams could have stopped it. It's as simple as that, especially some of the low-spending teams. And if Blake Snell one day, someday, becomes a Dodger because the Pirates wouldn't give him the money that he deserves, wouldn't give him the market value he deserves, even though he's a Pirate right now, and he becomes a Dodger, you can point the finger at the Dodgers all you want. But it kind of goes back to the Pirates too. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there helps me, this video, this channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you back here next time.